Alright, you'll notice that I went ahead and resized the part so that it's back to normal. And now the next thing we want to do is add the balls. So we're going to have these giant balls that are above the platform, and they randomly fall down. If you touch the ball, then you oof, right? So what we're going to do is duplicate one of these guys. Put him, whoa. Go to module, change from scale to move. And I'm going to move him into the right location. And you could get really nitty gritty with it and make sure that the number of studs from here to here matches the number of studs from here to here. But I'm not going to do that because I'm feeling a little lazy right now. And I put a lot of effort in building the first version. And since this is the tutorial version, don't have the same motivation that I do with the other one, so I'm not going to do that. Maybe I can move this guy this way a little bit. Okay, so that matches up. Alright, and now we want to add the balls. So the first thing we need to do, this is like a two-step process. The first thing we're going to do is add the balls, and then the second thing we're going to do is we're going to program the scripts to have them act the way that we want them to act, behave the way that we want them to behave. So what we're going to do is go ahead and move to part, say sphere. Let's make it the right size, and the size should be just about the same as the width of this little walkway here. And if that is too big, we could always adjust it later, but that's kind of the size that we want to shoot for. And then we want to put the first one here. Of course, this is all open to interpretation. You could do whatever it is you want, but I'm just going to show you how I did it. I just put them all right next to each other. I could also see why you would leave some space in between the balls, but I didn't want to do that because I wanted it to be a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to make it a little bit wider. I'm going to move it this way. Move it back over that way. Okay, so that looks good to me. And then I'm going to make sure collision is off, and then I'm going to duplicate and move, this way. Okay, and so the idea that I had was that yes, they're going to be moving randomly up and down, and sometimes it'll be impossible to get through. But if the player is sly enough, then he will notice that there's a little space here in the corner that he can stay safe in, right? So that's the idea that I had, and I'll go ahead and put balls all right next to each other. I guess we should go ahead and make sure they look good first, right? So let's go to the first one, and let's change its I'm going to go back here and delete these guys because I want to make sure this guy looks good. So I'm going to make my brick color red to match the other blocks. I'm going to change my material to be pebble, and yeah, I think that's about it. Okay, so yeah, that looks good to me. And then I'll duplicate, scoot over, duplicate, scoot over, and maybe put a little bit of space there. And the cool thing here is you could actually hold down shift and select two of them at the same time, and then hit command duplicate, and that means we duplicated two at once, and then we can move it over a bit, right? So that makes life a little bit easier. Duplicate again, move it on over here, and then duplicate again, and move them over to here, and then the last one we'll duplicate once, and that'll finish up our little section of the obby. Let's see. Okay, so that looks good to me, and then I guess there should be a spawn point here, right? So why don't you go ahead and add the spawn point, and then in the next video we'll talk about how to code these balls to behave the way that we want them to.